Dilbert comic Scott Adams passed away sadly from cancer, and it was something that was expected after he got the news from his doctor last year. And I would watch Coffee with Scott Adams some mornings. It would show up on my feed. I'd listen to him for a little bit. Very insightful, down to earth, just genuine, just dude chatting. He didn't strike me as like a really rich guy or a guy that was better than you. He's just a dude that made amazing comics. Outside of Jim Davis and Garfield, this was the go-to comic for me back in the day in the Sunday paper. I loved Dilbert, really did. I always had a love for the art of just what goes into doing them. It takes a genuine talent that I feel like is lost on so many this day and age. And maybe that's because comedy is being wiped away by the lunatic lefties. But it is sad. And yes, I'd agree as well that the show, the cartoon was amazing too. Hysterical. I think I actually have it on DVD. I need to go back and watch that. It's been so long. I love the cartoon of it too. So yes, very sad day. But you wouldn't know that if you read the news and saw the things they were saying about this guy. Libs of TikTok said people just changed the author to people staff because Victoria Edel couldn't handle the backlash. This disgusting headline was written by, oh, I bet her account is locked. Yep, there's the lock. Pronouns. Oh my God. Every damn time with these lunatics. When is society going to say enough is enough and start locking these people up in insane asylums? Like, holy shit. Feel free to let her know what you think. She's tagged. This is her headline for People. Scott Adams, disgraced Dilbert creator, dies at 68. Dilbert was pulled from wide circulation after Adams' racist rant in 2023. So they're going to try to dig up if there even is a one moment on someone in their life where they ideologically disagree with what they say about it. And after an entire life is lived, they will point to that one moment and say, fuck this guy. Oh, the lefty logic. It's classic. It all depends on perspective if you actually pay attention to what he says. John Lefebvre says Scott Adams was not a racist. Listen to the premise of his argument. Quote, according to this poll, a significant portion of Black people are not okay with white people. If true, then how is that racist to talk about a poll and have a conversation about it? They want to silence any discourse whatsoever that disagrees with their ideology. He was responding pragmatically to documented anti-white racism.
So if nearly half of all Blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll.
There you go. So his premise for his conference, this is like me reading an article and talking about it, saying, oh, here's a poll. I'm going to talk about what this poll means. I'm going to interpret the information. Somehow they label me a racist by interpreting the information accurately, because that goes against the narrative.
Not according to me, according to this poll. That's a hate group.
There you go. Not according to me. He literally just says, not me, this poll.
That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from Black people. Just get the fuck away.
Now, if you just cut it off right there, you'd be like, whoa, that's pretty aggressive. Context matters. And I think that's never been better exemplified than the past week's events with that Nicole Good driving into an ICE agent and getting shot and killed, and how the lunatic lefties remove all context from everything and just say, oh, this sweet mother that was just driving to school, packing her kid's lunchbox, sitting in this car, and this ICE agent just shot her. It's like, no, that's not. You need the actual context of actually what happened, not your headcanon. So listen to the context.
Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low Black population. Because unfortunately, there's a high correlation between the density. And this is according to Don Lemon. But
again, I know it's very edgy to talk like this. Is he wrong? Does it make you a racist for acknowledging facts? Are facts racist now?
So here I'm just quoting Don Lemon when he notes that when he lived in a mostly black neighborhood, there were a bunch of problems that he didn't see in white neighborhoods. So even Don Lemon sees a big difference in your own quality of living based on where you live and who's there. So I think it makes no sense whatsoever as a white citizen of America to try to help black citizens anymore. It doesn't make sense. It's no longer a rational impulse.
It's really like unfortunate. But again, I ask, is he wrong? And am I racist for questioning that? Like, this is the whole thing, is they try to curb the argument into their standpoint and their viewpoint so that they can be right and speak down to you, because their words control people.
And so I'm gonna back off from being helpful to Black America, because it doesn't seem like it pays off. Like, I've been doing it all my life.
Like, you would think if you were a black person listening to this, that you could react one of two ways. One, you could get really pissed at this guy and be like, fuck this guy, which I'd imagine there'd be plenty of black people that say that about them. But you could have the other black people that would listen to this and be like, he's right. We need to be better, because this is a really bad aura for the black community, for that to be the vibe for when black people get together, that it doesn't create a conducive community of success. And maybe use this and try to empower the black communities to be better than that. Oh, but it's racist to even talk about it.
And the only outcome is I get called a racist.
Yep.
That's the only outcome.
Every time.
It makes no sense to help Black Americans if you're white. It's over. Don't even think it's worth trying. Totally not trying. And there we go. You didn't expect that today, did you? But those who don't want to focus on education, you just need to get away from them. Just get as much distance as you can.
So I could see how somebody hears this and is like, fuck that guy. How dare he even talk like that? Because black people are just as good as white people or Asian people or anything like that. If that's what you take out of the conversation, you're missing the point. And I feel like that's the challenging conversation that so many people are afraid to have these days. And they just want to pretend that everything is perfectly fine, everything is fair, and everyone acts totally nice to everyone. That's not real life. That's not how it works. There are some amazing black people in this world. There really are. There are some amazing black communities in this world. I'm sure there are. But by and large, there are, when you start putting them together, it's reality. And when the people are trying to help it, it doesn't seem to fix it. So I would argue there needs to be more conversation about this, not less. People are so afraid to talk about it because they get canceled for daring to even bring it up. And look what happens when this guy talks about it. They compare end wokeness, ISIS leader versus Dilbert creator. Ready? This is obituaries. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, austere religious scholar at helm of Islamic State, dies at 48. The Washington Post. That's an ISIS leader. Dilbert comic writer. Scott Adams, disgraced Dilbert creator, dies at 68. You don't hate journalists enough. Heather 007 says, this is Victoria Edel, a writer at People magazine who wrote a hit piece on Scott Adams in the literal moments after his passing, referring to him as disgraced Dilbert creator. How long till the coward Victoria Edel goes private, you think? Well, by the time I found that tweet, she was already private. Matt Walsh, this is the monstrosity who wrote this vile article. Scott Adams was a great man, loved and mourned by millions. This person is a nobody, loved by no one. The world won't even notice when she dies. It's a great point. I was going to say, where's the nose ring? But there it is. It's a very small one, but yes, she's got a nose ring. She's part of the mafia. I never say his last name right. Alexopoulos. There we go. This guy is the comic artist. And he said, pissing off cartoonists the same day one of our veterans passes away is unwise. I will not be kind with tomorrow's comic strip. And it wasn't just People Magazine. People Magazine was bad, obviously, but I'm originally from Boston, moved to San Diego about going on almost 20 years now. Massachusetts has fallen. Massachusetts has turned so woke, it's not even funny. And no better has that been seen than the Boston Globe. Scott Adams, the creator of satirical comic strip Dilbert, who veered into racist far-right commentary, has died. What a despicable headline. Disgusting. Today is a great day to block every evil media outlet on this website to help starve them in their ad revenue. These people can't go bankrupt soon enough. Yep, 100%. It's paywalled, but if you refresh it, you can see Associated Press. So it's AP who wrote it. They won't even put a name on the person that wrote it. So pathetic, so embarrassing. So we'll leave it at this. This is the final message from Scott Adams. He wrote a letter before he passed. And I think it's really important to go through this. A final message from Scott Adams. If you are reading this, things did not go well for me. I have a few things to say before I go. My body failed before my brain. I am of sound mind as I write this January 1st, 2026. If you wonder about any of my choices for my estate or anything else, please know I am free of any coercion or inappropriate influence of any sort. I promise. Next, many of my Christian friends have asked me to find Jesus before I go. I'm not a believer, but I have to admit the risk-reward calculation for doing so looks attractive. So here I go. Even in dying, he's fucking hysterical. I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I look forward to spending an eternity with him. The part about me not being a believer should be quickly resolved if I wake up in heaven. I won't need any more convincing than that, and I hope I am still qualified for entry. With your permission, I'd like to explain something about my life. For the first part of my life, I was focused on making myself a worthy husband and parent as a way to find meaning. That worked, but marriages don't always last forever, and mine eventually ended in a highly amicable way. I'm grateful for the years and for the people I came to call my family. Once the marriage unwound, I needed a new focus, a new meaning, and so I donated myself to the world, literally speaking the words out loud in my otherwise silent home. From that point on, I looked for ways I could add the most to people's lives one way or another. That marked the state of my evolution from Dilbert cartoonist to an author of what I hoped would be useful books. By then, I believed I had amassed enough life lessons that I could start passing them on. I continued making Dilbert comics, of course. As luck would have it, I'm a good writer. My first book in the useful genre was How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. That book turned out to be a huge success, often imitated and influencing a wide variety of people. I still hear every day how much that book changed lives. My plan to be useful was working. I followed up with my book, Win Bigly. That trained an army of citizens to be more persuasive, which they correctly saw as a minor superpower. I know that book changed lives because I hear it often. You'll probably never know the impact that book had on the world, but I know, and it pleases me while giving me a sense of meaning that is impossible to describe. My next book, Loser Think, tried to teach people how to think better, especially if they were displaying their thinking on social media. That one didn't put much of a dent in the universe, but I tried. Finally, my book, Reframe Your Brain, taught readers how to program their own thoughts to make their personal and professional lives better. I was surprised and delighted at how much positive impact that book is having. I also started podcasting a live show called Coffee with Scott Adams, dedicated to helping people think about the world and their lives in a more productive way. I didn't plan it this way, but it ended up helping lots of lonely people find a community that made them feel less lonely. Again, that had great meaning for me. I had an amazing life. I gave it everything I had. If you got any benefits from my work, I'm asking you to pay it forward as best you can. That is the legacy I want. Be useful, and please know I loved you all to the end. Scott Adams. Damn. Kind of hit me reading through that last part there. Damn. Here's the craziest part about it. In his death, looking to help people make lives better, think differently, broaden their horizons, and we get pieces of shit like this looking to piss on him right when he passes away. You don't hate journalists enough. This shit's got to stop. Like, this is insanity. Indefensible. You might have feelings about the people that you don't personally like them. Leave that shit to the side when they pass away. Holy shit. Scott Adams wasn't driving over officers of the law with his car. Although if he was, you probably would have cheered that on. It goes to show the fucked up priorities of communists in this country. But yeah, R.I.P. Scott Adams. You will be missed. I'll leave that there.